Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the ConQuest channel here on YouTube. Sorry, gotta adjust myself here. It's really jamming to that music. Anyways, this is ConQuest. My name is Josh. Let me adjust this mic a little bit. That way I'm not screaming into your ears. Anyways, my name is Josh. This is the ConQuest YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome back. And if it's your first time stopping by, which most likely it is your first time stopping by, my channel is extremely new. Although I've been on YouTube for a while, I've got another channel. It's called Wolf's Hollow Survival, where I go out in the woods and I monkey around. I do survival things. But I think my most popular video is my Memorial Day tribute here, a video taken here around Alpena, and my blooper videos. There are 2 blooper videos, and I think half of those views are probably from myself because I love watching those. They make me laugh. I love laughing at myself. I've got ADD out the wazoo, and I love to laugh. So anyways, okay. Oh yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to the Love Mob. Y'all know who you are. And thank you so much for all of the love and support, and thank you to all the new subscribers out there. Thank you so much for stopping by and spreading all that love. I really appreciate it. It was really amazing to see. Oh man, I really was jamming to that stuff in the beginning. Okay, alright, like I said, I've got ADD and I get distracted by anything, so I really like to give shout outs. I think you guys are so awesome over there. The Fooglers, y'all know who you are. Anyways, my job, blah, 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 blah. My name is Josh, or people call me ConQuest, I guess. Either or is fine. Here on my channel, I would like to dig into pretty much anything. I'm sure I'll have some silly videos. I'm going to be doing shout out videos, I'm sure, again. One big thing that I really like to read about and listen to are reports on cryptid activity. So cryptid, like Bigfoot or Dogman. So if you've had any weird experiences involving cryptids like Bigfoot or Dogman, or anything strange, aliens, paranormal. I used to go out and investigate around North Carolina when I was stationed at Fort Bragg. That was some pretty nuts stuff. That'll be in a different video, which I actually think there's a clip in my intro video, which I'll show at the very tail end of this, of something that I caught paranormal. You'll see it. There's a headstone, and then all of a sudden I stand up and something just walks right by. It's absolutely crazy. Anyways, so if you've had any weird experiences or anything and you want to contact me and share your story, or just write your story down, I'd love to share it on this channel. I really would love to share it on this channel. I've already did one Michigan Dogman encounter interview, which was amazing. She did a great job. And I would really like to share your story here on my channel. And I know with a lot of people, they feel like, oh, I'm the only one that's ever seen this. Something's wrong with me, or you know what I mean. There's a bunch of people that have seen that kind of stuff. So, anyways, feel free to write your story down. I'd really like to feature it here on my channel. And on a serious note here, if you have any prayer requests, please feel free to write me. All the prayer requests will be read privately by me, only by me, unless you specify otherwise. And I can shout out and call for prayer requests as well for whoever needs prayer requests. I love praying for people. I really do. I really love praying for people. I pray all the time. There's so much power in prayer. But if you need to, you can find me on I believe it's Josh ConQuest on Facebook. But here, you can search up ConQuest on Facebook, or ConQuest Josh. I think it's ConQuest Josh on Facebook, and private message me on Facebook. I've provided a P.O. box in the description down below this video, down there, and you can also send prayer requests or your cryptid experience, or anything, your story. You can share your story to my Gmail account, which is conquestpodcast989@gmail.com. So conquestpodcast989@gmail.com. So anyways, okay, let's jump into the video here. Like I said, I'm interested in stuff like the Dogman and stuff. I'm really, ew. Sorry, I had something stuck to the bottom of my foot. I really like listening to Dogman Encounters channel with Vic Condiff. He's a great interviewer. He really does a good job, and there's some really good stories on there. If you guys get a chance, go and check out Dogman Encounters Radio on YouTube. And I really like to listen and watch the Watchman YouTube channel. Now you see TV, and every now and then I like to watch Coast to Coast. Because you never know what they're going to talk about. There's always going to be a really interesting video, and I really like to stay up to date on some of that stuff. So it's amazing what we can do with the internet now. I mean, news today isn't the same as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, heck, even 50 years ago. I mean, we've got so much on social media and YouTube, and I mean, it's really sad that YouTube is taking away some channels and shutting down some channels, because a lot of these people have information that they want to push out, and that's what I would like to do with my channel. And I would really love to share some of your guys' stories if you guys write in. I mean, that the information is just it's a click away, and I mean, once you start digging into this stuff, it is really hard to stop. I mean, what really woke me up, I believe, is when they started doing Jade Helm things, and I was in the military at the time, and I I brought up the subject of, hey, what if we get deployed on American soil to take away all the, I mean, I'm not gonna go to somebody's house and do that. That's just crazy. So that kind of opened my eyes a little bit to start paying attention to some of this stuff. But like I said, once you start digging into a lot of this stuff, I mean, biblically and politically, it's really hard to stop. It's really hard to stop because there's so much information out there that you can literally go all day and all night and you'll never even scratch the surface. But anyways, speaking of scratching the surface, I am going to get into the video here. I'm just gonna touch lightly on some of this stuff. I'm gonna scratch the surface on purpose for this video. And the reason being is I want to spike your guys' curiosity. I mean, once I saw a few things about some of these topics, I was just like, whoa. I knew in scripture it talked about giants and everything, and a lot of people brush that off because, I mean, we're so caught up in today's day and age. It's kind of ridiculous, but I believe all these subjects are linked together, and I'm going to have another part of this video talking about what I believe is linked and how it's linked. So that'll be a good video too. Stuff's pretty scary, but it's interesting. It's really interesting. So, how many of you have heard the Bible story about the Tower of Babel? Let's see here. Okay, so the Tower of Babel. Oh jeez, I'm so lost. Sorry. Anyways, okay, so Tower of Babel in Babylon. It's in Genesis, chapter 11, verse 6 and 7, and this talks about. Let's see here. Okay. So, the Tower of Babel, these people under this great king wanted to build a tower so great that they could reach the heavens. They were trying to reach God in the heaven. And some other videos talk about how they wanted to overthrow God and become gods themselves, which is kind of just, it's out there. But anyways, I will read you Genesis 11:6-7. And the Lord said, indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language, and this is what they began to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down and then confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So they all came together. They all worked together And God noticed this. God saw the work that they were accomplishing. He says nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. He's seeing that these people should accomplish great things, but I mean, you're trying to reach heaven, which is just, it's absolutely crazy. So he came down, saw what they were doing, confused the language, and then he spread them throughout the earth. The Lord scattered them all over the face of the whole earth, and then they stopped building the city. This is it's the Tower of Babel in Babylon. So, yeah, there's a couple of pictures here. Okay. Now, so the figure that they believed was the ruler at the time was a man with many names. You might know him as Nimrod or Gilgamesh. And I don't know about you, but younger, calling other, going up to somebody who is acting kind of crazy or whatever, you'd call him a Nimrod or a Dinkum-Poop or whatever, which is kind of funny. Nimrod or Gilgamesh. Now, Nimrod is described as a king in the land of Shinar, Mesopotamia. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, but building the Tower of Babel led him to being rebellious in the eyes of the Lord, in the eyes of God. Oh yeah, here we go. Just take a look at these three. Yep, it's a set of 3 photos of a statue of Nimrod. How crazy is this statue? How crazy. So, you've got this statue here, and it's 3 different angles here, and I'll show you all the angles. Now, what he's holding on his left side, so it would be our right side, is a fully grown lion. I don't know about you, but I've seen lions at the zoo, and I know they're not wild lions, not as big as wild lions, I'm sure, but they're still flopping huge. And what was it? Let's see. So it's a statue of Nimrod, and he's holding a fully grown lion on the one side there. The average height of a fully grown male lion at the shoulders is about 4 feet or just over. At their shoulders. What happens when they're holding their head up? I mean, that's got to be, 4.5, 5 feet. They're giants. They are huge. And that thing looks like an overgrown house cat compared to this statue. Isn't that just absolutely nuts? Anyways, so I mean, how tall do you think he is if that lion at the shoulder is 4 feet? So we're looking at somebody that would have been called a giant, or we would call him a giant, or freakishly tall anyways. So that is going to bring me on to my next topic here, and it's the giants of the Bible. giants of the Bible. So, we're going to go to Genesis 6:4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God, the fallen angels, came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. So, giants. They're talking about giants. Sorry, that was the King James Version. I'm not very good at the reading of King James Version. But anyway, so giants. We're talking about giants here. And in the Bible, there are 36 tribes of giants mentioned. Wow. Just wow. There's a shot here. And then, okay, and then of those 36 tribes, there are 22 individual giants mentioned by name in the Bible. You can see some of them here. Goliath, that's a popular one. Everybody knows David and Goliath. And if you don't, well, then you can read about it. And look down there, right there, there's Nimrod. You can see Nimrod down there. So that would explain why he looks so huge in that statue compared to the lion. Now recently, not too long ago, did anybody hear of that special forces group that was in Azkrakistan, if you know what I mean? They were a special forces group, and they had it was a special forces group, and what had happened is one of their patrols went out, and they couldn't get a hold of them. They couldn't contact them for whatever reason. They just wouldn't answer or anything. And I think the story goes that they couldn't get them on comms or anything like that. So they actually sent out another patrol out to look for them. Well, they came up onto like this mountain-ish area, and they were seeing equipment all over the place, and then they started seeing blood, and there's body parts and shell casings everywhere. Well, then one of the guys smelled a crazy smell, and this big giant red-haired beast looking caveman guy came out of a cave in the mountain there. And whoop, here, let's see, there we go, here we go. Alright, and this is obviously like a cartoon. It's an animated picture, but this is basically what they were dealing with, was a giant red-haired being, humanoid, just giant red-haired beast. And then after they took it down, they called in and they sent a helicopter and they airlifted this thing out, and none of them ever saw it again. None of them ever saw it again. And then they had to all go and get debriefed. There are a few interviews, if you search around, telling the story probably a little bit better than I am. But that's pretty crazy. I mean, just hearing brothers from the military talk about coming up onto a giant and having to fight this thing and losing however many guys that they lost so that they could just take it down is absolutely eye-opening. It's nuts. When I heard that, I was like, hey, this has got to be a giant from the Bible or along the lines or something. And of course, here is everyone's favorite giant from Game of Thrones, 1-1. And of course, Mr. Giant's Bane, Mr. Giant's Milk Giant's Bane, standing next to him. I thought I'd put that in there for you guys. So there's a researcher out there that I really enjoy watching and listening to his interviews and catching all of the updates. His name is Stephen Quayle. He's out there. He's out there in the field. He's trying to find all the evidence that he can to prove that these things exist. And he is full of knowledge. I mean, he is out there trying to get all of our attention, and he's done so many interviews and he talks to so many people about this stuff. I mean, it's out there. It's out there. Look in your Bibles. It says right in your Bible that there are giants in the earth. And they're still around. They have to be still around. I mean, Special Forces guys, I don't know what they ran into, but it wasn't a bunny rabbit. I mean, Stephen Quayle really gets into a lot of things, and I mean, he's got some amazing works. I want to say his website is like Gen 6 or Genesis 6. So just, if you haven't heard of Stephen Quayle, go out and look for Stephen Quayle. Listen to some of his stuff, because then you'll know what I'm talking about. Alright. Let's see what's next on my list of stuff here. Oh, well, I guess the Red Wings are doing good. I keep getting updates from my little sister. There we go. Sorry if you could hear that, guys. Go Wings. Anyways, oh, where was I? See, I told you, ADD out the wazoo. And I love the Red Wings. Grew up playing hockey. Oh, the burial mounds out in the West and Midwest. The big giant burial mounds. And the stories from the Native Americans talking about how there were giant cannibal tribes that used to live in caves, and they would come out and steal their horses. They would steal other tribes, other Native American people, and they were just disgusting. And there was this one story where this Native American tribe had enough, and they went to their cave and built a giant fire right in the mouth of the cave, and I'm assuming it killed all of them. But Oh, geologist? Yeah, geologist. Anyways, they they dug up a bunch of different burial mounds with these giant skeletons, and there's oh, let's see here. I have. Okay, there you go. There's a few news clippings um, of this event here, of the giants and the burial mounds and stuff. I mean, it's absolutely crazy that they came and the government came and snatched up all of these skeletons and everything, and they transferred them over into the Smithsonian, and nobody has seen them. No, nobody ever sees them. I mean, just how crazy, how crazy. I would love to be able to see a giant skeleton. I mean, absolutely nuts. So here's another picture. These skeletal figures represent just a few giant human remains unearthed and documented in historical records, along with the historical accounts of Goliath, who had 3 brothers as big as he was. I mentioned earlier Goliath, David and Goliath, it's in the Bible. Og, the king of Bashan, whose bed was 13.5 feet long. Wow. I wish I had a bed half that size, because then maybe I could stretch out. Maximus Thrax and Caesar of Rome. So check that out. So our present day average is about 6 feet. I'm about 6 foot. There's 15 foot, 8 foot 6 inch, 10 foot 6 inch, 12 foot Og, king of Bashan, and that was 1400 BC. 19 foot 6 inches under an overturned oak tree in the Catan of Lacorna, or Lucerne. I don't know how to say that. Anyways, 23 feet discovered in 1456 AD in France, beside a river in Venice. Or Valence. Venice. Yeah, Venice. Pretty place. 25 foot 6 inches discovered in 1613 AD in France. That's crazy. That's huge. That's as long as, well, that's not as long as my house. It's almost as long as my house. 36 foot. Can you, alright, can you imagine, sorry, got some in my, can you imagine, I don't know, going out into, say, your field that you're farming, or just maybe you're digging a foundation for a new house or an addition onto your house, and there is a 36 foot skeleton in that hole. I can guarantee you that I would probably crap my pants. I don't know about y'all, but if there is a head or a skull that's the size of my Silverado, I might just drop a loaf. Alright. I mean, these are the giant skeletons. giant, huge skeletons. I'm really sad that these things are possibly in the base, in some corner of the basement. Well, it'd have to be a big corner of the Smithsonian Museum, but anyways, they're just stuffed in a basement, and the public doesn't get to see. I mean, what are they hiding? What are they hiding? There's got to be a reason why we cannot see these. Why these aren't on display. I mean, come on, Smithsonian, you could have a whole other building for just all these giants. They're so big that, I mean, that would draw so many people in. Come on. I mean, is government afraid that it's going to prove the Bible to be real? I mean, it's going to definitely give credibility to the Bible, that's for sure. And, I mean, that's just absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Oh, let's see. I went over this. I went over that. How's about that? Look at that skull. Here's another picture for you guys. Look at that skull. How crazy big is that skull? And that thing is a Volkswagen. You could climb in its eye socket. All you have to have is a steering wheel and wheels. You could drive that thing around. Absolutely. Wow. That's huge. Alright. Okay. Well, thank you guys for stopping in. Thank you guys so much for stopping in. I really, really appreciate it. And like I said before, shout out to the Fooglers and Love Mob. Thank you so much for stopping by. It gave me so much motivation to do this video. It really did. I mean, super busy dad, but I'm going to start pushing out some more videos. I really loved seeing all the love. It was really uplifting. It really was. So thank you so much for the Love Mob. I love you guys. Like I said before, if you have any weird experiences or just want to share a story, feel free to email me at my Gmail, conquestpodcast989 at gmail.com, or go down into the description below and write me a letter. I can read cursive, which is great. I know there are a lot of people now that can't read cursive, which is kind of weird. But anyways, write me and send it to that P.O. box, and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from all of you. I do have a Facebook that I just made, so I'll put that link in the description below too. So check that out. That'll be a good way to get a hold of me, but if you need to get a hold of me, go to my Gmail. And prayer requests. Remember, I really like to pray for people. There's so much power in prayer. There really is. There's so much power in prayer. And I'll just tell you this really quick. I work for a ministry. It's called the Curix Ministry here in Michigan. It started off as a prison ministry, and it was working so good, and people wanted to experience this ministry and experience a weekend. It's a Thursday through Sunday afternoonish weekend, sharing the love of Jesus Christ and to people who really really need it. And I love all of my brothers and sisters in Christ. You guys are amazing. um, I love you guys. If you need prayer requests, just get them into me, and I will be praying for you guys. I really will. I'll be praying for you, and you'll be seeing my ma on here. Actually, she's gonna help me out with the channel, and she's a prayer warrior for sure. And if you guys specify that she can be praying for you, then I will let her know, and then you'll have at least 2 people praying for you. So, thank you guys so much for stopping by and checking out my video. Check out those other videos. I made a compilation video of just all the crazy things that I've been seeing and that I'm interested in. Had to throw some Mrs. Doubtfire in there. It is hilarious. I love Mrs. Doubtfire. It makes me crack up so much. And I hope you like the clips in that video. And my Michigan Dogman interview. Well, I didn't interview Dogman, like I said before. But somebody who had an encounter. And I know of a couple of other people that have had some strange happenings here locally. So, I don't know. It might be a matter of time and I might have my own. So, anyways, thank you so much for stopping by here at the ConQuest Podcast channel. I'm Josh, and I'm peacing out. Good night, guys.